welcome to the 8th episode of the CoWorking show. My name is Anna and today is going to be all about which things to take on a CoWorking trip and the things that you shouldn't forget. Unfortunately, I'm not in Madeira anymore. I'm back in Germany, in cold Germany. But I have a lot of learnings from my last CoWorking trip, and today, as I told you, it's going to be all about what to pack and what to not forget. So why don't we get started? I mean, the first thing that you can probably imagine is take your laptop, because this is probably something you probably will need when co-working. And then also to your laptop, I can definitely recommend you to have a second screen. Depending on what type of work you're doing, like usually also in the office or at home, I do have a second screen. So you don't want to miss that when you are remote working. This one is like it's super thin and it's like super light, and you can attach it to your laptop and you have the perfect place to work, and it doesn't take too much space in your luggage. So I'm really in love with this one actually. Another thing that is actually for me one of the most important things you need for your co-working trip are noise cancelling headphones. When you put those on, you don't hear anything anymore from the surrounding. This means you can perfectly concentrate, and you can put in some music or not, and you will be able to concentrate even if your co-workers or something around you will make some noise. And especially when you have a lot of meetings, it might be like super useful also for the people that have the meetings with you, because it also like basically takes down the noise from the incoming noises from the outside. So definitely a must-have for every co-working trip. Don't forget to also take some normal headphones just in case those ones break or you just have a back off, because can always happen. And then something, it's nothing that is especially for co-working, but a power bank is also something that I can always recommend, just in case you have a phone call or something, you're going out in the sun to have the call and then your phone runs out of battery. Always good to have a power bank. Also, something I always take is a Bluetooth mouse, just because it's more comfortable. I think it's more comfortable than working just with a laptop touchscreen. So I always take a Bluetooth mouse, and I don't know, I have it for like 2 years already, and I put in one battery and it's still running. So really think I always try to make myself like the best setup to feel like I'm actually in the office. Another thing that might be helpful is, let me check, is something I realized on my first co-working trip. I actually have no clue what that is in English. I think it's an extendable cable, so basically where you can put different plugs in, because it might happen that you will work on the same table with more co-workers and then there's only one outlet, or you want to, I don't know, move your table a bit more in the sun or whatever. So it's always good to have one of those, because then you can make sure that you actually have power wherever you want to work at, and you have the freedom to move around a bit, even if your laptop is not charged. And then another thing that I also always recommend, it's again nothing like mainly for a co-working trip, but is a box. You might want to, I don't know, put on some music, or if you, I don't know, whatever. I think one of those boxes, like just for some music, is always a good idea to keep up the good vibes on a co-working trip. Maybe if you have lunch break all together, just put in some music and turn your head off for 30 minutes with your co-workers. It's always a good idea. Besides this, I also think that books is always a good thing. Just because, think about it, it's not really like a vacation, because you're gonna be probably on a co-working trip longer than you would usually go on vacation. So you might want to spend some time on just reading the book that you've always wanted to read. Maybe it's some business book that you've always wanted to have the tips of or something. Just take it with you. You will probably, find the time. And also something that you might not need, but for me it's always like a sleeping mask. And this one is quite nice because it has like the parts of the eyes are like a bit more like this. You will need your sleep because you need to concentrate, you need to make sure that you perform at work. So I don't know, let's say if you are at home, you usually sleep where it's really, really dark, and then in the house that you're staying, you might not have like curtains that are so dark, or like sunblades or something. So this is why I always take my sleeping mask. So with this one, I can make sure that I'm actually gonna sleep properly. Another thing that you might want to take, especially at the moment, don't forget you will always need your masks. One for the plane, the medicine one, and then of course always a good one just to go whenever, because yeah, probably in every country you go you might need those masks. And yeah, we also have the nice one from JoinMyTrip, so if you want one of those, just let us know and we can ship you one over. Besides this, what I usually also take on every trip, but especially for co-working trip, because you stay longer and you need to take more stuff with you than on a usual trip, like all the equipment and stuff. That's something to weight your luggage. It's super light and you just need like 2 small batteries. And this way you can make sure that you don't have, your luggage is not overweight and you have to pay at the airport. Might sound a bit nerdy, but I always want to make sure, like, I don't like to have the tension, like, okay, if do I have to pay or not? So I'm a big fan of this one. And yeah, besides this, I mean, it's a working trip, so don't forget pen and paper. You will need this. Of course, always only if you need that at home. But for me, I always need stuff to write on, and I always make sure to take enough pens and paper and stuff. Of course, you can also buy stuff there, but yeah, if you have it at home, you can just take it. And yeah, besides this, you might want to go on some small excursion or something. Take a small bag with you to make sure that whenever you go maybe to the beach after work or for a little excursion or for dinner, whatever, yeah, take one backpack. I mean, of course you can take the one from JoinMyTrip. Again, if you want to have one of those, just let us know, we can ship you one. And yeah, it's always helpful to just have like one extra small bag, and they don't weigh a lot, so you can just put them in your hand luggage. Besides this, you're gonna be there for a longer time, and I don't know, but I personally do home workouts, because if you're staying at home all the time, gyms are closed, whatever, I also want to make sure that where I'm going, I also keep on working out, because otherwise, yeah, things are not gonna go bigger. So I always take my jumping rope. It's super light, and this way you can make sure that you get some movement, and it's not really that it takes a lot of space. And yeah, if you want, I mean, I also have those extendable thingies that you can do like some exercise with, if you want. But of course, there are also a lot of like things you can do without having equipment. But maybe think about it. If you have something that you might want to take, if you stay for longer, maybe it's worth it to take it. And yeah, I think, okay, one last thing, depending on where you're going, but even if you go somewhere where it's warm, in the house it might be a bit more like colder, and you're gonna probably stay there again for like not only 1 week, but for a bit longer. So I usually, okay, don't laugh at me, I'm not gonna take those ones, but I take some shoes for the house, because yeah, you want to feel comfy where you work, and it's important that your feet keep warm. So yeah, you might want to take some that you have at home, but yeah, if you have big ones like I do have, I usually buy some when I'm there, and then I just leave them there. But think about it when you pack your stuff. And of course, I mean, besides this, everything that you usually take on a trip is obviously necessary. Maybe some more like also comfortable clothes, because you're gonna sit a long time, like, but it's something that you do in home office anyways. So yeah, those are my tips for you for your co-working packing list. To be honest, like the extendable cable with the different plugs is one of the things that I will never forget again on a co-working trip. Yeah, and it's super, super useful. And yeah, actually I do have one last thing that I will show you now. One last thing I can definitely recommend to take is a small Wi-Fi router. This one actually saved my life when I was co-working in Portugal, because sometimes you don't know how fast the internet in your Airbnb is, and maybe your host can tell you before you're coming. And sometimes if 5 people are in the same Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi can be really good, but the connection is shitty. And you want to make sure that all your co-workers and you have like best connection to perform, and to not miss any calls or meetings or have like a bad connection. So this one, I think it's like 80 years or something. There are different ones, but yeah, this is the one I have. You can buy a SIM card from any provider that from the country. For example, Portugal, I always take Vodafone, and then you can buy some gigabytes, put the SIM card inside, turn it on, and then log into the Wi-Fi on your laptop. Something that, as I said, for me saved my life, because this way I didn't have to worry about that the Wi-Fi is going to be bad, because that was my biggest concern when I went on my first co-working trip in Portugal. So this is like this one, the extendable cable and the noise cancelling headphones are my top 3. But yeah, if you do have any co-working essentials that I maybe forgot, let me know. I'm looking forward to have maybe some new inspiration, and there's always something new you can learn that you might be using on the trip. Just let me know down in the comments. And yeah, if you like the show, if you like the content, feel free to subscribe, to comment, to like, to share, and whatever you can do on YouTube. I would be really happy. I hope to see you in the next episode as well. Have an amazing day ahead, and greetings from cold Germany. Bye.